Good evening, everybody. Welcome along to the Blind Gooner. Welcome back to another show. And most importantly, welcome to the preview of Arsenal versus Man City. And, we've all been waiting for the return of the Premier League. And listen, we're about 24 hours away from it now. So, I hope you're all looking forward to the Premier League returning. And I hope you're all looking forward to a bit of normality, because it's been a long old 3 or 4 months, isn't it? You know, with lockdowns and things getting cancelled and various things like that. So I hope you're all looking forward to some resemblance of normality in the shape of football, because football is an escapism for a lot of people. So I hope you're all doing well. I hope you're all keeping safe. And with me this evening, I am joined by Kevin. Kevin, how are you doing, mate?
Yeah, I'm good, man. I'm good. Just kind of excited with the Premier League being started right now. And we have, of course, I'm having jitters thinking about the Manchester City game. It's probably whether we are going to get slapped or hammered, or either it's going to be a decent result. But I'm really looking forward for it. Let's be honest, all of us have been missing football for quite a while. It's been like practically 3 months, and we have been prisoned in our own houses. So I'm kind of excited. Hope you're doing well, Daniel. Just like I noticed that you were also down with sickness, flu or fever. So I hope you're doing well right now, and let's get the show cracking, man.
Yeah, definitely. And Sam, we got Sam as well, who's joining us live from Norway. How are you doing, Sam?
I'm all right, Daniel. Thanks for having me on. As always, it's a pleasure to be here. Great to see you guys. Big up everyone in the chat, apart from Taib. Don't like him. Anyway, yes, it's always good to be here, here in Norway, it's nice and hot now. We're right in the middle of the summer now, 28 degrees at the moment. You can probably hear the seagulls going on in the background here. I'm sorry about that. I can't really help that because I have to have the balcony door open, or else it's just going to cook in here like in an oven. So when I have the balcony door open, you're going to be hearing the seagulls, unfortunately. So good to be here as always, and I'm looking forward to it.
Yeah. And listen, it's great to have you guys along, and it's great to have everybody in the chat as well. So, remember, guys, do keep liking the video and do keep subscribing if you are new. That would be greatly appreciated. And also, don't forget, before we get into tonight's preview and predicted lineups from us all, don't forget tomorrow there's going to be a watch along for the Aston Villa Sheffield United game. We're going to be live on air at 5:45 p.m. So be sure to tune into that one. And then straight after that game, we're going to have a 15 minutes break. And then we're going to be back at 8 p.m. And listen, it's going to be all about Arsenal. It's going to be all about Arsenal. Also, during the Aston Villa Sheffield game, the lineups for Arsenal is going to be announced. So we're going to be going through those lineups on that stream. But yeah, when we jump over to the stream for the Arsenal Man City game, we're going to be going through them a lot more in depth. So be sure to check both of those streams out. Those streams are already up there on YouTube, so please go and bump up the likes on those already. I'd really appreciate that. And look forward to tomorrow, because it's all systems go and it all kicks off. And I tell you what, I can't wait. I've been watching Arteta's press conference, which we're going to cover that in a little while as well. And listen, I just got butterflies, do you know what I mean, with the Premier League returning, and we've all missed it, haven't we? We have all missed the Premier League. You know, the Bundesliga and the Italian leagues it's not a patch on the Premier League, is it? And it's not really a decent substitute for it. So we're all glad to have the Premier League back. So anyway, without further ado, let's get into the preview, and I'm going to get you guys, Sam and Kevin, I'm going to get your initial thoughts on the game tomorrow. So, Kevin, I'm going to start with you. How are you feeling about the game tomorrow?
Well, Arsenal have like mentioned like a few of their players, like apart from Chambers, I believe most of the players are fit and ready to go. But let's not diss out Manchester City's players as well. They pretty much have all their players on form right now, and it's going to be a strange thing to see the Etihad empty, although they have pretty much all plastic fans over there. So oil money has really ruined them, but it's going to be an interesting encounter. But I'm kind of like divided in opinions right now about the Manchester City Arsenal game because it can the squad depth is going to be vital in this. And do Arsenal really have a squad depth? That's a questionable thing right now. But I can see pretty much both the sides are capable of scoring goals. And I also can see, on the other hand, like if Arsenal were to play a very open game, you're pretty much going to get exposed in every corner. But if you're going to play much more to a defensive structure, which I hope Arteta will do, and hit them on the break, and perhaps maybe we can look something at a positive result. A draw can also be considered a positive result in current circumstances because, let's be honest, our defense hasn't been great all season. So the thing is, it's going to be like how Arsenal nullify the threat of Manchester City, because Manchester City have got a lot of quality up front and a lot of quality in midfields. The only weakness Manchester City currently has is probably the defense, but their defense is about miles ahead of us. But that's the way I can see it. It's only if Arsenal were to play much more of a counter-attacking type of approach, I think they can do it well, man. That's my take on the game, though.
Yeah, and it's very interesting. And I almost forgot, guys. Listen, we've got another guest as well joining us, Nitesh. I forgot to mention Nitesh at the start of the show.
How do I do this? Yeah, he's there.
Yeah, and I didn't even realize we were live already.
So yeah, guys, I completely forgot to mention Nitesh. He was there eating his dinner. You know, he's like feeding time at the zoo over there. Do you know what I mean? Like,
no, that's what I want. That's what I do on Twitter. Feeding time at the zoo.
So yeah, Sam, how are you feeling about the game tomorrow? How are you? Are you nervous? Are you?
Of course, I'm excited and nervous. You know, all the different feelings that go into it when you're going into a big game against a big team. And of course, it's been a while now since we've played, so there's a bit extra nerves there. And I'll tell you what, it's different at the same time because I think it's so hard to predict this game. I mean, yes, Manchester City on the face of it, you look at their squad, you look at the way they have been playing previously, you know, on the paper, you know, on the face of it, on the paper, you would think they should be beating us no matter what. But you know what? I mean, we're in a situation now, you know, unprecedented, and the teams have basically had their season stopped, and now they've basically had a new pre-season. So this is like the start of a new season in sort of like in practice, even though in theory it's not. And I just wonder how much this really affects everyone when they're not 100% match fit. I mean, I know each team's had a couple of friendlies. I'm not sure if Man City have had friendlies. They've probably had a couple of friendlies like we have. You know, we're still not 100% match fit, not match sharp. And it'd be interesting to see, you know, the effort level shown and tackle level, you know, will they be going in for 100% in tackles, all of this, and how the game pans out. I mean, will it be like we predict, or will an upset happen? You know, it's tough to say. It's a tough game to predict, but yeah, it's going to be. I can't wait for it because it's going to be great to see all the players back in such a big game. It's always good, isn't it?
Yeah, and it is going to be an interesting game. You know, in terms of, because on the face of it, a lot of people will say that, okay, it's Arsenal against Man City. Listen, we've not done well in recent times. We always seem to get our pants pulled down when it comes to playing the bigger and better opposition. But then you factor in that we are in the pandemic. There's going to be no fans behind. You know, the games are going to be completely behind closed doors. And it in my opinion, it's a game changer. Whether people like to admit it or not, it is a game changer. Because Man City rely on a lot on their fans' support. So do we as well. Don't get it wrong. We rely on our home fan support as well. But I feel with Arsenal, with these players, a lot of the reason why we don't perform away from home is because the intimidation of a lot of home crowds. And I think that's partly been our downfall. Is not because we're scared of playing these teams. I think it's down to away fans, the home fans of these away grounds, which is a big influence on us. And I think we're better when we've got our home crowd behind us. Nitesh, what are your thoughts on it? How are you feeling about the game tomorrow? And
well, before that, when you said our pants pulled down, I could remember a guy who loves vanilla dicks. So I could think of that guy when you said pants pulled down. And anyways, as I said before, it's going to be a 3-1 City win. If it's anything different, then it's going to be a miracle result. If we get something out of the game, obviously. And I don't generally see that happening, because even in 5 substitutes, if you make any kind of comparison, like 5 substitutes, they got the better 5 substitutes. Bench strength, they got the better bench strength. Manager, they got the better manager. Overall performances over the last season and in the last games head to head, they got all the results in their favor. So if we get anything out of this game, it's a miracle, obviously.
Yeah. Big up to everybody in the chat as well.
Guys,
I see Brownie. I see Brownie's running his mouth in the chat about Cardiff City supporters being louder than both Arsenal and Man City.
Yeah, the 1 or 2 that are there in the stadium.
Yeah. Listen, the only time Cardiff shout, listen, closest you'll get to a trophy is a teacup. Yeah.
The paper cup.
I know the teacup ride at the fairground doesn't count in either. You know? So Arsenal Insights is saying here as well that everybody benefits from home support, and I think that's true. You know, I really do think that's true. And I don't listen. I think that we've got a chance, whether it be, you know, albeit maybe a slim chance, but I think we got a chance tomorrow. I think we could surprise a lot of people tomorrow. And maybe I'm being too optimistic, but you've got to be, ain't you? You've got to be optimistic. What's the point in going into every game fearing the worst? And, you know, like, we're asking the players to go into games not fearing teams, and yet we're, as fan base, going into games fearing opposition. So it's a little bit double standards, isn't it?
We're not kind of scared. We know it because we have seen Arsenal play for so long now, and it's not that we are scared. But as we said again, if we get something out of the game, it will be a miracle. Knowing the level of quality that they have and the money that they have been spending, and the players that they have, so on the bench and off it, I mean the starting 11. So we know for a fact that their team is the stronger team. We are not scared of them, but then the thing is, we don't expect much from our team as well.
Yeah. And so do you guys, you know, Nitesh, I'm going to come to you first. And do you what's your heart saying tomorrow? What's your heart and what's your head saying in terms of getting a result there up at?
I think I stopped taking my heart to Arsenal games post Highbury, because I've seen so many crappy performances. I think I use my head more now these days. And as I said before, I am not a person who will brag about Arsenal winning any game because of what they have done in the previous game. We may have 10 good games, and then we come up with a very poor performance in a game that actually mattered, which has happened again in the Europa League final as well. Even though we were fucking it up in the Premier League at that point of time as well. But then what I will say is, one thing I can say, I understand your optimism, because Arsenal tends to suddenly spring up a surprise when you don't expect anything of them. And this is that kind of game where when you don't expect anything, it is possible that Arsenal may show up that day. That is tomorrow. So that could be one case. That is the only optimism that I have from my end with respect to this game. But if it is a realist opinion, it is City all the way.
Yeah. No, and what about you, Kevin? What's your heart saying?
Yeah, when it comes to Arsenal, yeah, we have to always put our hearts aside, because they are pretty much full of disappointment. And do I really want to put my heart into the jeopardy of like supporting the players that they have like literally given up on us? We as fans has constantly supported all them this while, and they have been pretty much like making us pretty much sad and disappointed all this while with the results and performance. So my heart is saying right now, basically from the performance, from the recent performance, and from the player standard as well, it's kind of like nearing towards a draw, I would say. That's only because of Mikel Arteta, of what he has instilled in the players and the dressing room and throughout the club. In a short stint here, I can see certain differences. It's not a very massive difference, but there are some changes. And these changes are pretty much because Mikel Arteta is not really like lighting up the scene. He has a lot of draws right now. So I'm probably going to say like my heart is going for a draw, but there's also a defeat written all over this. My head is going for. My head is like writing off. It's Arsenal's going to be hammered or something.
I just want to add one more point. Arsenal is right now currently in the state. You can compare it to the WWE. The nostalgia and the attitude era was great, but this current PG era is shit.
Yeah, exactly. Well put.
I miss the Undertaker. I miss the Undertaker. Bring back the Undertaker. Oh, I miss him.
Yeah, it is. It's mad. So, I want to ask you guys, and let's get into the lineups, because everybody's going to have different lineups. So, what I'm going to do is I'm going to go around each one of you in turn, and I'm going to ask you your lineup. So, Sam, I'm going to start with you.
Interesting you say that, my old squire, because I've got something prepared for you. I've got a lineup, a graphic lineup already here. So I'm going to share my screen. If you allow me to share my screen, don't worry, there's not going to be any porn on it right now. Say that later.
Not in the daytime, though.
So if you accept,
it's funny how you said right now.
Yeah,
it's not going to be any porn right now.
After there will be.
There's potential.
There we go. Sam's screen is there, so can you all see that?
So if you see that, can everyone see that?
Yeah.
Right. So this is the lineup I think is most realistic, what we might see realistically, but whether it happens or not, I don't know. But anyway, just for Daniel, just so you know, we've got Leno in goal, and I think he's going to go with the trusted pairing of, I don't think he's going to experiment with Mari or anyone else. I think he's going to go with Louise and Mustafi. And I think he's going to go with Tierney out left. I think he's going to go with Bellerin out right as the fullbacks. And in the middle, I think he's going to go with Xhaka in a slightly deeper role. I think he's going to have Guendouzi with him in midfield. And I think he's going to have Ozil in the 10 role. And I think out left, up front, he's going to see we're going to have Aubameyang out left because he's going to want to play with Lacazette up front. And then we're going to Pepe out right. That's what I think we're going to see.
So is this 11 your 11 or what you think Arteta is putting up?
This is what I think Arteta will probably play with.
Okay.
How about your 11, Sam? How would your 11 shape up?
So if my 11, if it was me, I would probably try Mari instead of Louise. Maybe give him a go. I would have Torreira here in the deep lying role instead of Xhaka. I would probably give Ceballos a chance here, maybe Willock. Ceballos or Willock in the 10 role. And I would have Martinelli or Saka out left here. I would have Aubameyang up here in the middle and Pepe out right. That is the changes I would make.
Yeah.
So I would like to see. I would like to see that because Aubameyang's not effective out here. Yes, he can come in and score goals because he's a goal scorer, but a general play out here, he's not really doing anything. You know, he's not really a proper inside forward or a winger. So for me, you know, we should have someone who's better at that role, like a Saka, or even Martinelli is better at playing wing than Aubameyang. And as I said, Xhaka, I just can't stand the guy. He just ruins all our play. But the reason I've got him down is because you just know Arteta, you know, he showed game after game that he trusts him and wants to use him. So he's going to be playing. That's what I think. He's going to be playing. But I wouldn't want to play him. I'd like to see Torreira play.
And good to see
with his ability to get involved with tackles. I know he's not physically very strong, but he does get involved with tackles, and I think he could maybe give De Bruyne a bit of trouble if he sticks on De Bruyne. I would love to see Torreira do that. And then Guendouzi. I just think Guendouzi is a very good player, deep lying distributor of the ball. He can get the ball and he can pass out to Pepe into Özil. I think he's just very good at this role. Also, he's pretty good at tackling, in my opinion. If he gets stuck in, if he has the right attitude, and then Özil. I mean, we're going to see Özil, I think, because we've seen the trust Arteta shows in him. But for me, I'd rather see someone like Ceballos or Willock, who I think both of them play better in this formation with these players. That they play better in that role, that they create more, and we're more fluid and more. How should I say? We move the ball better in attack. More direct, more direct going forward when we have them instead of Özil. And then Lacazette. I mean, the thing is, Lacazette, for me, I don't think he should be starting. I think Aubameyang should be in his position where Aubameyang is better, I think. And then for me, Lacazette would be on the bench. I'd rather have then Martinelli or Saka out left, as I said. But yeah, this is the way I think it is. And what do you guys think? You guys want to make any? Would you guys make any changes to that, or what do you guys think?
Yeah, so Nitesh, I'm going to come to you. What would your lineup be? And
the Arteta one, I'm not bothered because I know it's going to be more of the same. Before the pandemic, whatever we saw, Xhaka will be playing, Ozil will be playing, these guys will be playing, Lacazette will be playing, whether we want him to play or not. But I think I want Lacazette to play. I have nothing against him. He has had a few bad games, but he can still recover that form. The season isn't over yet. You need to remember, it was this season, part of the same season. So how he finishes also can make a difference in the minds of the Arsenal fans. Anyways, what I wanted to see, if I had to pick the 11, obviously Leno at goal, there will be 5 defenders. I'm not going to play 4 defenders. 4 defenders can't cope with the City attack.
Yeah.
I would, and if I had to, I would throw out Bellerin and get in Maitland-Niles on the right as the right back. Next, the other thing is I would go for Mustafi and Pablo Mari because against City, you need people who can run. David Luiz can't run. He's slow as fuck as maybe even Xhaka and Ozil. So David Luiz will be turned around, like they will play around him and they will toy with him. So I would take probably Mustafi and Pablo Mari because Pablo Mari is the stable one and both of them actually have the legs when they are playing proper football. Next thing is, again, as I said, 2 left backs. I will play either Tierney and Saka or Tierney and Kolasinac together. So a 5-man defensive line. What will happen is either one of them will probably push forward and come back, and so that there is always a guy at left back. And this left back can also cope up and help the centre backs to defend against any threat. So we always get caught on the counter attacks. But when you have an extra man behind, because if both of them won't overlap ahead, one of them will. So there will always be an extra man behind to make up the numbers. And you need to remember one more thing. On the right-hand side, you are having Bellerin, who will be up against Sterling. So I don't think Bellerin can defend. He couldn't defend his own girlfriend if he wanted to against thugs. So that is just an example. It didn't happen yet. But what I'm trying to say is his defense is so bad that he only pushes forward and he's out of position. So having an extra defender will always help the cause, and 5 defenders is what I would go for. Now coming to the midfield, when you have 5 defenders, you can have only 1 midfielder. I don't want a Torreira, I don't want a Guendouzi, I don't want a Xhaka. I will play Ceballos there, who has the work rate. He can push forward, he can come back, he can also tackle a bit, he can also he can also get into Kevin De Bruyne's head if he wants to. And if he's given that role to man mark Kevin De Bruyne, he can actually be a pain in the ass for Kevin De Bruyne. That is about that. Now remain the so 6 are done, one keeper, 7. Now remain the front 4. Now in terms of the front 4, I will probably go in for Lacazette as center striker because I need someone to get to Laporte. We never know. Laporte has also come back from an injury. If Lacazette harasses him a bit, he may again get injured and probably go off. Now the next thing is on the left side, Aubameyang. Why I want Aubameyang on the left side? You need to remember, if Kyle Walker is pushing forward, suppose Kyle Walker is the right back, he will tend to push forward a lot. So Aubameyang will have a lot of free space and he has the pace to actually cause trouble to the City defense, and we can counter attack quickly. Martinelli can do that as well, but Martinelli is not mature enough right now, and his final passes are not good enough. So Aubameyang can probably make those runs and probably carry the ball in front of goal and score. Now on the right hand side, obviously Pepe, because Pepe will be harassing the left backs. If it is Zinchenko, he's also not played enough. If it is, I think Cancelo, he's also not played enough. Any of the left backs that they have not played enough football. And the other guy who could probably be there will be Laporte. So I want him to actually have a run at Laporte and trouble him a bit, so that if Laporte is the one who's getting troubled, the left hand side has a more free movement and they can attack from the left hand side. There they can just change the flank and they will have a lot of more freedom because the focus will be on keeping Pepe quiet. Now with respect to the center part, if I would have actually had the option, I would have probably switched Pepe to Cam and asked him to do the same thing and probably try to get in maybe a Reece Nelson on the right. But because I have stuck to Pepe on the right, I will probably try to get another player in the Cam role. Probably this could be. I think we can probably stick with Ozil for now because, as I said, his through passes can actually make a difference. I would, if we are changing the formation a bit more, then probably if we are not playing a number 10, then Ozil can be out of the team. But if Arteta is sticking to the fact that he wants a number 10, then probably an Ozil will be there. Otherwise, the other option would be bringing Pepe central and possibly getting Reece Nelson or maybe a Martinelli or shifting Aubameyang to the right and making him counter attack and taking on these guys, taking on Laporte as well, and on the left hand side bringing in a Martinelli. So that attack is a bit here and there because I know he's going to stick with Lacazette, and I would stick with Lacazette because of the physicality. Because if we are not physical enough, this game isn't ours for taking.
Right. So, Kevin, what do you think about this?
Yeah,
Right.
Kevin.
There's only slight things that I make adjustments based on the formations that Sam has provided here. Is basically Bellerin swap Bellerin out of there. Bellerin is not good enough because I think he'll be overrun by Sterling and he doesn't have the capabilities to manhandle Sterling.
Do you guys think Sterling is going to be playing out left and not Sane?
No, Sane is not going to start. He's not played a single game. No way Pep is going to drop him for Sterling. And can I just quickly address one comment? Chadwick is saying that if Kyle Walker is moving forward, Aubameyang will have to track back. No, I have put 5 defenders. You need to remember, I have put 2 left backs. So Aubameyang will not have to track back. There will be one left back who will always be there and the second one who will be tracking back. So Aubameyang can stick to his position and he can actually cause a lot of problems to City. That is the whole point of playing the 5 defenders.
Yeah. And basically, I was like saying that I'm going to remove Bellerin out of there. Bellerin, and I'll bring in Maitland-Niles there because Maitland-Niles
he doesn't want to play there.
Yeah, but that's the formation I would go with. That's probably the formation that I would go with. But we all know that Mikel Arteta is going to go with Bellerin, Zoolander, so there's no fuck-all choice about that. Guendouzi also had a bust up with Mikel Arteta as well, but we are not really sure about that as that happened behind the scenes. So I probably remove Guendouzi and put in a Torreira in there because Granit Xhaka and Torreira seems to have a little bit of stability, I would say, because they seem to they don't have that proper. Their understanding seems to be much more worse when Guendouzi is there, especially with Granit Xhaka. And so when it comes to Pepe, I'd retain that. Aubameyang, I would try to I'll try to push him forward, center forward. Lacazette, I'll push him behind. I don't want Ozil to play, to be honest, so I'll get rid of Ozil. And I'll put Laka as a number 10. And Aubameyang further up front, and Martinelli will be jumping in straight into the left. That would be my slight changes in that, actually.
See, I'd like to see Leno in goal, Bellerin, because I just think, listen, I don't think he's going to play Maitland-Niles. I really don't. And I think it's no secret that Maitland-Niles is going to be leaving the club. And then you got Pablo Mari, David Luiz as the centre-back pairing, which is probably, listen, he wants a left-footed centre-back, doesn't he, Arteta? And I think, what's the point in buying him if you're not going to use him? And then, see, the left-back position, for me, is a little bit tricky because I'd like to see Kieran Tierney play there, but I think in all probability it's probably going to be Saka. But I'd like to see Tierney play there and Saka play further forward. But then you sort of either have to leave out one of Lacazette or Aubameyang. And I think in this game, I don't think he's going to leave out either. So I think what he'll do is he'll play Saka there, and Tierney will drop down to the bench. And then going full in the midfield is going to be Torreira, Xhaka, and probably Ozil, because I can't see him leaving out Ozil. And then the front three is going to be Pepe, Lacazette, and Aubameyang. But yeah, I would prefer it if Aubameyang moves to the centre, Lacazette drops to the bench, and then you have Saka on that left-hand side with Aubameyang through the middle and Pepe on the right. Because for me, that would give more balance to the left-hand side. And then it's just the right-hand side you've only got to worry about, because I'm not sure that Pepe and Bellerin have a really good understanding as I think that Tierney and Saka will on that left-hand side.
And I want to add a couple of points. You guys keep forgetting the fact that Martinelli can't play those crosses. He's not a cross player. He will not be playing those crosses. Saka can be that player. He can play the grounded passes, the crosses and stuff. Martinelli cannot do that. His work rate is great. He can run at the defenders. No denying that. He can play the simple one-touch football and the 1-2 passes. He cannot cross the ball for Aubameyang to score. So there is no probability that Martinelli will be starting off on the wings, whether it is on the right or the left. He's been decent on the left, but that has not been because he's playing the balls in. What he's doing is he's linking with the left back and putting the balls to them, and they are putting it in, which has generally been Saka so far because of the injuries. So Saka plays the final ball in. So if we are playing Martinelli, we'll have a handicap that there will be no crosses coming in from the left. Next thing is, Chadwick is saying even with the 5 at the back, Manchester City will find the space. If Manchester City find space with 5 at the back, it's better the Arsenal players pack up and go home and play FIFA. And the second thing is, this is the same tactic that actually has worked with United. It's worked with every other club that has beaten Liverpool, because when Alexander-Arnold and Robertson are pushing forward, they play the long ball over the top and they get that free space to run into. Their players run into that free space, and that is where the counter-attack starts. So even if you're playing 5 at the back, and even if City do find the space, if you're conceding 1 goal, there is still a chance that we can score 2.
Yeah, interesting. I don't think I can understand your tactics, Nitish, and in many ways they do make a lot of sense. But the thing is, it just when it comes to Arteta, it's just never going to happen, because there's no way he's gonna change things that drastically, tactically, and with players and everything right now for this match. It just wouldn't happen. But yeah, I mean, if this is something you would try if you were the manager, yeah, I mean, it sounds interesting. He makes some good points, but
he has been part of the City team that has lost three times already to United. He knows this is the same tactic that works best.
He's never played for the 5 at the back. Never. This is the formation he plays.
We are expecting something surprising. This could be the surprise.
Well, we didn't use it in the match at all. We used a 4 at the back in the preseason.
It's never used.
It wouldn't be a surprise then, right? If
he used this 4 in both games.
No, I understand. What I'm trying to say is, if he's thinking of actually surprising City, this would be one way of doing that, because it's worked against them this.
But then you have to at least have played it at least once, I would say, before you do that against a big team. That's what I would think. You'd have to You'd have to have done it at least once. You shouldn't go to the Etihad and it's the first time you've ever tried that formation. That just doesn't bide well.
See, that is what I'm saying. Maybe they must have tried it in training, not in the friendlies, obviously, because everyone is watching the friendlies. If you do that in the friendlies, obviously it will be noticed and City will be ready. And the next thing is, so he may have probably had a formational talk about it or a tactical talk, you can say, and told his players, if he's expecting some kind of major change. Because if you guys also understand that if it's going to be more of the same that we have seen before the pandemic, there is no way that Arsenal is beating Manchester City in this based on that. So there has to be something different.
Right. So let's look at the. I was just saying because I've got this Manchester City lineup here, and I was just thinking, Sane, of course, is not going to be playing. I forgot that. So you got Sterling out left, and then you'll probably have Mahrez out right. Then, yeah.
Yeah.
So what are people saying in the chat? What are people saying in the chat? Because
if you close the screen now, you can you can go away from my screen now if you want. We can go back to it in a minute.
Yeah. Most of them are practically saying like, start Martinelli. Martinelli should provide much more up front. He offers space, directness. That's said by Omar. And pretty much big up all the guys in the chat as well. Simpy, James, Liam, Miss Melina, Steve, Chadwick. And Nitesh, I think if you can pull up with Chadwick's message as well, if Kyle Walker is moving forward to help Tierney, you addressed already? Yeah.
I addressed.
All right.
Yeah.
Right. Interesting. All right. That means a central midfield will open up for City. That was the last message given by Chadwick. What do you think of that?
In this formation, that is why I said, see, the main player of City is Kevin De Bruyne in midfield. Their other midfielders are great, but then the main midfielder that you need to mark is Kevin De Bruyne. That is why I said Dani Ceballos needs to be given the man-marking job of keeping De Bruyne quiet. If he can do that, it will be sorted. Things will be sorted. And the other thing is, in such a tactic, the main pass that is the main through pass that you're playing and the scoring opportunity will come from the long ball that will be played ahead. So you are not going to be playing those normal kind of passes. Either it will be one of the left backs who will be making the run forward and tracking back as well, or it is going to be the long pass that will be played to find Aubameyang on the left side. You are not going to expect a Nicolas Pepe to play the long ball. It will be either maybe one of the defenders. If David Luiz is playing, he will be trying to play that long pass, or it will be one of the other guys who will be expected to play this long pass from the back and set Aubameyang into motion. So it will be that kind of style that Atletico Madrid generally tends to play as well. But we will have 5 at the back because our defenders are shit in comparison to Atletico.
Yeah, Nitesh, I think Steve Wismog as well has brought in an interesting point here. Play Tierney and make Saka a number 10. Anyone can do better than Ozil. If Lacazette is on the bench, we have no one to hold the ball up. Aubameyang is a poacher and needs someone to keep the ball in the box. So what do you think if Saka were to play at number 10,
No, he's better out wide.
Saka's not going to play at number 10.
He's got speed. He's got technical skills. He needs to be out wide. He's a good passer of the ball. I mean, he can do some decent crosses as well. I mean, the thing is, he can't really play number 10 because there's at least a few other players I'd rather have there than him. You know, I would actually rather like Pepe. I think Pepe might be a better number 10.
Do you know what? Do you know what, Sam? I've said this. I think Lacazette. You put Lacazette in the number 10 role because he might not be able to score. He might not be able to score. And do you know what? Right, that would probably be a good way of getting all our main forwards in the team because you could put you could drop Ozil out, put Lacazette at number 10, put Aubameyang through the middle, Pepe on the right, and you could either interchange between Martinelli and Saka on that left-hand side. So, like, because these players are going to be short of match fitness, you could probably play the first half with Saka and then put Martinelli on, or you could do it vice versa, and that way it's not going to interrupt the flow of the game too much because they're both left-sided players, and then you could just have Tierney as the left back.
Yeah, Sam, Taib is obsessed with your cubes.
Yeah.
Not the pubes, but the cubes.
Not the pubes, but the cubes, yeah? Or is it the pubes? Wouldn't you like to know, huh?
But two things, Saka is not going to play Cam because his passes are crosses. They're not through balls. A Cam needs to play those through balls and the 1-2 passes. So crosses are a completely different thing. He puts the ball to the foot from the left-hand side. That is a cross. It's not a through ball. He can't play those through balls kind of passes. And the next thing is why Lacazette will never play as a Cam is because Lacazette's best attribute is his physicality and the fact that he can trouble the defenders and he can hold the ball. If you put him as a Cam, that attribute will not be utilized at all, and it goes to waste. And then there is no point of actually having Lacazette in the team. So Pepe can be the Cam. Pepe can be an unofficial Cam, but not Lacazette.
Another thing is, we're not going to see any of these. I mean, all these changes you talk about. You might do it in FIFA or a fucking Football Manager, but I mean, come on, we're not going to have huge changes like that to who's playing where all of a sudden now against City. It's just not going to happen. It's just not going to happen. We're not going to see Saka as a Cam. We're not going to see Pepe as a Cam. We're not going to see Lacazette as a Cam. They're going to be playing in the positions they normally play in, and that's what we're going to see. I think we might see maybe some changes in midfield, I hope. I mean, central midfield. I'm hoping we might see a couple of changes there, but that's about it.
Yeah, but don't you think the battle is going to be won and lost in the midfield area?
The battle's won and lost by keeping De Bruyne quiet.
Yes, exactly.
If we can keep De Bruyne quiet, then Manchester City are going to have problems because he is their whole creative force, basically. I mean, of course, they have other good players. I don't know whether they're going to be going with a Bernardo Silva or a David Silva, whoever they're going to go with in midfield. You know, together with De Bruyne, they've got Sterling, of course, is good. Mahrez is good. I mean, they've got many good players there, but De Bruyne is their engine and he's their creative force. And if he gets space and he gets time, like we gave him last time, we're going to be fucked. You know, we're going to be fucked like a teenager on prom night. But if we keep him quiet, and that's why I would like Torreira. I would actually like to see Torreira just man mark De Bruyne. I would love to see that because I think that is something Torreira could do.
But he gives away the ball easily, you know. That's one thing with Torreira. He gives away the ball.
But he's not. His job's not going to be to. His job's going to be to win the ball, give it to the closest player, whether that's a defender or Guendouzi or whoever's in midfield. Just win the ball, give it to the closest player. His job is going to be to mark De Bruyne. You know,
but
that's what I'd like to see.
Torreira isn't fit enough, so I don't think it's going to be Torreira. That is why I said Ceballos. That is why I said Ceballos. If Torreira was like fully fit, I would still probably go with Ceballos because Ceballos is more physical than Torreira. Torreira doesn't have the physical attributes to compete with the De Bruyne. If a long cross is played like above Torreira's head, he will try to obviously block it. But then there are many.
If it's a head height, but at head height, De Bruyne is not as effective, is he? He's effective with the ball on the ground, right? So that's what we're looking at.
Yeah. No, what I'm trying to say is if a long pass is played, it could be played over Torreira and it could be sent to De Bruyne and then he creates. So City will, if Torreira is playing, there are easy ways of countering it. So that is the thing.
Well, I don't know. I'll put Torreira on him anyway. I don't know if he's fit enough. We'd have to see. That's something for them to judge, isn't it? But obviously they know better than us who's fit enough or not. But the whole point is we need someone on De Bruyne, and De Bruyne can't be given time on the ball. He can't be. He has to be closed down, and he can't.
The thing is, I don't think it's just about keeping De Bruyne quiet. I think that's part of it, but I also think we need to take our chances when we get them. I think that's been a big problem. That's been a big problem in big games is that we get chances and we're not clinical enough in those big games. And I think if we can stick Torreira and maybe stick Torreira and Xhaka on De Bruyne, and then we can be clinical in front of goal, then I do think we've got a chance. Or maybe even Torreira and David Luiz, just to come and do that job, because Xhaka's probably, he's probably best. He's not really he's not really a defensive midfielder.
If Xhaka keeps Kevin De Bruyne quiet, he should get a lifetime achievement award after that game.
Player of the season, PFA award.
Yeah, the Ballon d'Or for Granit Xhaka if he can actually keep Kevin De Bruyne quiet in that game tomorrow.
And he'd go like this.
Yes.
Well, last time we saw, didn't we, at the Emirates, De Bruyne just completely tore us apart. I mean, he had so much time. He had so much time. No one bothered pressing him. And that's the problem with our team. We just don't give a fuck. Our players don't give a fuck. That's what's so annoying to see is, I mean, at least back in the George Graham days, we were playing this boring football. The players fucking gave a fuck at least, and we got some decent results.
Yeah.
They weren't great players, most of them. The Steve Morrows and the Ian Sellies and that lot. But I tell you what, they fucking gave 110%. That's for sure.
And that's it. And it's. Listen, I don't know. I still think we got a chance. I think we've got to listen. We've got to play out our skin. There's no bones about it. But I do think I don't know. I've just got a feeling that there's Arteta's got a game plan, and I may be wrong, and he may not have the players to execute that game plan, but. Listen, it is what it is. We're stuck with what we have, and I want to talk a little bit about. Did you guys see the press conference yesterday?
No, I didn't catch that. I think I read some of it. Is that what he talked about? He was optimistic about signing Aubameyang. Is that what you're talking about?
Yeah, he pretty much addressed a few things yesterday. He spoke all the right things. I was literally listening, or I was reading through the articles and stuff. It was literally, they were asking him there for the first time. They really asked relevant questions in the press conference. How players would adapt to the situation and why aren't the contracts being signed fast enough? Like Aubameyang was given, why is Aubameyang still not signed up yet? You had about 3 months away from football. Why has it been not done? And he kind of said the right things, to be honest, but it was still putting us in a conundrum as well, because we pretty much were unsure if Aubameyang is still going to stay. Because let's be honest here, Arteta also mentioned that he said that signing up Saka is going to be one of the main priorities, because that's the focal point of his the future of the club. But still, Saka is not even done with the contract as well. The contract negotiation has been ongoing, and they said that it's going to be a good news and a positive outcome. He said he hopes, but it will benefit all parties. But yeah, he pretty much ran through the games and stuff, how the players would react in empty stadiums, what are the how the contract negotiations, and then I think Daniel, what else did he inform? Apart from the transfer, apart from the Aubameyang transfer saga and the contract extension, the match about playing in empty behind closed door, I think he brought up a few points as well.
Yeah, so they were talking about, they're asking him what is it going to be like to face Pep Guardiola, which is obvious going to be an obvious question, and I don't know, I get the feeling with Arteta. I get the feeling with him that he has a plan, and that he's they asked him about what was it they asked him? Yeah, so they asked him whether or not it's impacted, not having a pre-season. And they asked him sort of, is this going to benefit him having having a slight preseason when before he was saying in press conferences that he's not really had time to work with the players. So they asked him whether or not this is going to benefit Arsenal or hinder him, because we was on a good run before the the pandemic hit and all the games got called off. And I don't know. I personally think it will benefit us. I really do. I really do think it will benefit us. Having this little bit of time, and if I'm right in thinking, Man City have not really had decent friendlies, warm-up games, have they? They've not really.
Yeah, and I think honestly, what will be Arteta's game plan for this game? Players, the Premier League is coming back. This is our first game of the return. Don't embarrass yourselves. That's about it.
Yeah, do you know? I mean, I just think look, even if we only win 1-0 tomorrow, even if it's a boring game and we just nick it. Listen, because we know, right? Let's be honest here. Both teams are going to make a lot of mistakes tomorrow, because listen, we've seen it with the Bundesliga, we've seen it with other football coming back. The first game, it'll probably take about 2 or 3 games for the players to get a little bit up to sharpness. So we know that maybe tomorrow, maybe against Brighton, these players are probably going to make a few mistakes. I think we just have to accept that. And that's not just going to be for Arsenal. That's going to be for every team. There's going to be mistakes.
There's something I mentioned this yesterday, and that is, I've actually got some expectations now of Arteta. I mean, of course, I won't expect him to win the game. It's too tough of a task right now. But I am expecting us to have a good performance, and that is because, number one, we've had a rest now, and players should want to give 100% at least. They shouldn't be worn out and stuff like that. We should be able to give a decent performance. And two is this has been like a pre-season for him now. He's had 3 months with his team, where he's been able to talk to them and go through tactics with them and go through all the issues with them that he needs to go through with them. He's actually had some time to use this as like a pre-season and actually implement some proper changes and implement some of the things he wants to implement. And then that should hopefully show itself on the pitch tomorrow, because the thing is, just want to finish my point, is because when he came in, he was sort of thrown in at the deep end and everything was all up in air, everything was all going crazy, and he didn't really get any time to go through anything apart from that 2-week break in Dubai. That was it. I think, now we should be able to see more of what he intends to do. That's my point.
Yeah, and we've actually had longer off than what we'd normally get in a summer break.
Exactly, it's even longer, yeah.
So normally in a summer break, we'd probably have about 4 to 5 weeks.
Well, they normally finish the end of May or mid-May.
And then they come back at beginning of July.
Right at the beginning of July is when they start pre-season, yeah.
Yeah, so they've actually had
over a month, isn't it?
Yeah,
and there
they've had a longer break
this time because of Euros.
Yeah, there's no Euros this time as well, so there's been nothing played now, of course, because of that as well. But yeah, basically, normally they would have just over a month break normally, and then those who have gone and played in the Euros will probably have come back again, like we saw previously after the World Cup, etc. They would come back and they wouldn't play for another 2 or 3 weeks after the start of the season because they're playing in that summer tournament. So yeah, now they've had a 3-month break now. He's had some real time to implement some of his ideas and tactics and changes he should want to make. And so I'm actually thinking about that and saying, okay, you had a lot of time now to work with these players. He's had them for 2 weeks now in training, nearly 3 weeks, but he's had a lot of time before then to go through things with them, talk to them about things, and think about how he wants to do things. I'm actually expecting I'm expecting us to show something tomorrow. I'm not expecting us to win, but I'm expecting us to show something,
And I will just like to make one point. if you remember, 2016 was the last time that the Euros happened. The players came back tired, and Leicester City won the league. So that is what I'm expecting. Next season is going to be another one, shocking one. There might be some a new winner, and that is where probably Arsenal will have a good shout as well if we can sort our shit this time around. Because next season, most of these big teams will have all their players playing in the Euros. They'll all come back tired. That is what exactly happened in 2016, and probably we can try to nick something if we sort our shit out this summer transfer window and this season now.
Yeah.
Leicester City win the, was it the
2016.
15, was it the 15-16 season, or was it the 16-17 season?
I think it was 16-17. I just need to
Because
check
if
that
it's
again,
16-17, then you're right. Then the Euros was there in 2016. But if it's 15-16, then there was no Euros when that season
but- No, it
started.
was 16-16. But okay,
Yeah,
but
so
again,
that's-
I think Chelsea
so then it's
won
no,
that
no,
season,
no
right?
Euro, no
Next season.
Euros. Like the Euros came after the season.
Yeah, Euros
But
was
it
in
could impact.
2016.
No,
Yeah,
couldn't
but
have
it
been
could
back
impact.
then.
So your
What I'm
whole
trying to
Yeah,
argument,
season,
so your whole
the season was
argument
finished
was
by the
that
Euro. When the Euro started, the season was finished.
No, what I'm
Yeah,
trying to
you're-
say is I think the next season Chelsea won under Conte the first time. I think that was the season, right? After that.
yeah.
So there
Yeah,
could be a
Conte won.
different
Yeah.
there could be a different winner, is what I'm trying to say. That Chelsea team wasn't the best team of them all, but then there could be a different winner. So I'm expecting some kind of, like you can say, spoiler happening maybe next season, or an upset that can happen next season as well.
Spoiler alert. All right.
Spoiler alert, yeah.
Listen, the only way we're winning the league is if every other big team is playing shit. And listen, I can't see that happening. I can't
That
see
happened,
it.
but we didn't win.
I
Leicester won
can't
it.
I can't see us winning the league for another 2 to 3, 4 years, 5 years, even.
And
You know,
I think there is an AFCON at the start of next year, 2021
Yes.
as well, right? Somewhere it is.
Yeah.
Yes, there's
January, I
couple
think.
nations.
January, right?
Do we have anyone going into
Yeah.
that? We've got Aubameyang, right? Aubameyang's going to go to that.
Yeah, but Liverpool will lose a lot of players. Then there are other
Mane.
teams who will be losing some of the players.
Mane,
Yeah.
Salah,
So if we lose Aubameyang, we're fucked, aren't we?
big time.
yeah,
Yeah, that is
We
why I
are.
said we need to sort it in this summer transfer window.
well, let's be honest. I think we're going to lose Aubameyang anyway. If we're being brutally honest, I don't buy all this from Arteta that he's close to signing a deal and that they're confident. They can be as confident as all they, you can say it. You can say, oh yeah, we're confident, but Arsenal were confident of keeping Van Persie, and look how that turned out. Arsenal were confident of keeping Fabregas. Look how that turned out. Arsenal were confident of keeping Nasri. Look how that turned out. So it's all well and good being confident until it actually happens. It's all bollocks. Do you know what I mean? It's
And yeah, one more thing with respect to the Euros again, coming back to that. This season is done. Next season starts in a month. Euros after that, another season after that. So it's going to be a couple of hectic years of football without too many breaks. There will be a lot of injuries. There are going to be a lot of problems. There are going to be a lot of fatigue. There is going to be in the next couple of years with respect to football because of this pandemic pushing everything together. So, and obviously in the upcoming weeks, that is the next 4 weeks or next 8 weeks, I guess, right? Next 2 months. It's going to be as hectic as football can be. I don't think any of these guys have played such hectic football with respect to the Premier League in recent times.
It's going to be 2 games a week, basically. That's what they're going to be doing. So they can handle that.
And also,
It's
don't
going to be
forget-
like,
It's only
Don't
5
forget-
weeks, so they can handle that.
But don't forget
I-
as well, in the 21-22 season,
Yeah.
don't forget, I think the World Cup, that season's going to be pushed back
22,
'cause the
yeah.
World,
It's
Yeah,
going to
'cause
be
the
December
World-
22.
yeah.
Yeah,
So
it's
the
gonna be-
World Cup is, we're sort of,
Qatar.
Yeah.
it's,
They're holding
So,
in December 22, so they're going to be changing the season around for that as well. They're going to have a mid-season break, I think, a long one.
so the next couple of seasons are going to be fucked, in
Yeah,
terms of
weird, isn't it?
schedules and stuff.
Yeah, because
it is.
look now, they've scheduled the Euros for next June, right? So if we start a bit late now, they're not going to finish till basically probably like 1 or 2 weeks before the Euros.
Yeah,
And that is why someone was suggesting, I think it was Sam, he was saying that Why does Manchester United need a Thomas Partey, or why does Liverpool need a Werner? Some of the other guys were saying this is exactly why, because the next 2 to 3 years are gonna be hectic as hell. They want players who will be there long term, at least for the next 3 to 4 seasons, and they want to get these things sorted out. Every club wants. They want to get rid of the old players who are not going to survive these 3 years. They like I'll give you an example of Manchester United. A Matic will be injured within a season or so. He's not going to last for 3 to 4 seasons. He's going to be in and out of the team because of his age and his fatigue. He could be injured, as I said. He's not going to get injured for sure, but a Bellerin could be injured. That is another player. A Torreira could be injured. So we need players now. We need to get rid of these guys and get in proper players who will be there at least for 4 seasons or 5 seasons, without a doubt. And that because of the fact that this hectic football schedule is now going to at least continue for 2 to 3 years without any kind of major break. It's going to be really stressful for them as well.
Well, actually, they want to implement, don't they? What we did this year was that winter break. So they're going to have a winter break going in, but the problem is the winter break in the 21-22 season is going to have the World Cup.
Yeah.
So so for all the players who go to the World Cup, it's not going to be a break for them. And so but every season is supposed to have a winter break now, like they had this season. But yeah, I agree with you. It's going to be hectic. But it's also about now that these the big players who are coming in now, like Timo Werner. He wants to play first team football, right? That's why he's not going to Liverpool. Liverpool don't want. They wouldn't put him in. They wouldn't start him probably at the moment.
Yeah. And so, what are people saying in the chats? Because I want to get your score predictions for the game.
Yeah, pretty much, Daniel. They are already started with the score prediction down there, and most of them is telling like Guardiola got an upper hand on Arteta on this. He's probably going to school them. That's what Taib is saying, and most of them, like Melina, has gone for City 3-1 win. Omar has gone with a similar scoreline, 3-1 win for City. And Simpy has as well gone for a 3-1 City as well. And pretty much all of them are backing for City to just like comfortably beat us. And let's see here. Yep. So Chadwick is telling we have to win about 7 games of the remaining 10 to push for a top 5 spot. So I pretty much agree with that. And what else can we have?
Go Daniel for the Ozil song. Go Daniel.
Yeah, Daniel, you have to rehearse the Ozil song. You have to rehearse it, mate.
Like I said, it's not over till the fat lady sings. So I'm optimistic until it's. Listen, anything can happen. Do you know what? Right, and I'm going to be honest with you guys. If this was a normal end to the season, right?
What was water?
Yeah, okay, thanks. If this was a normal end to the season, big up the wife's just bringing me a bottle of water. If this was a normal end to the season, I would agree with you guys, right? I would say, listen, we got not a chance in hell of making that top 4 because with the home and away advantage, our away form is shit. But this is not a normal end to the season. Teams that there's going to be some surprising results, and I think we could get in there. Do you know what I mean? I really do. Like, under normal circumstances, I would wholeheartedly agree with you and say, listen, we're not going to get in. We've got not a chance in hell, but we've just got. Do you know what I mean? This is unusual, and I think we could take advantage of that. I really do.
But for taking advantage, you need to have such players. And again, 7 games out of 10 is a very big ask for even the best Arsenal teams throughout history. So 7 out of 10 winning 7 games out of 10 is not an easy job. Even the best teams.
It's not an easy job, but it's not an easy job for anybody, Nitesh. It's not an easy job for Chelsea. It's not an easy job for, it's not yes, Chelsea are in a better position than us, of course. Because they've got that 4th spot, and you say with Man United, and they've got Bruno Fernandes and all that. But it's not an easy job for anybody.
What I'm trying to say is the other teams will have to choke like that ex-girlfriend who likes the BDSM. So they will have other teams will have to choke like that for us to finish in the top 5.
Not necessarily.
Dirty boy.
Not necessarily, right? Because we're in 41 points, so it sort of hinges on tomorrow's game. If we lose tomorrow's game, then it's going to be nigh on impossible to get in there. But if we win that game, right, and it's a big if, I admit it, but we, it only takes teams above us to lose 3 games, and that's not on against the realms of impossibility. It's not, it could still happen.
The problem, there are 2 things, and one is that we are facing most of the big teams there. We are facing Manchester City, we are facing Liverpool, we are facing Leicester, we are facing Chelsea, we are even facing Wolves. So we are facing most of those teams. The second
We're not
thing
facing Chelsea.
We are.
Oh, they played Chelsea twice.
Yeah, we played Chelsea. Sorry, not playing Chelsea. The other teams, Leicester, Wolves,
Spurs,
so we got
Wolves,
Spurs,
Leicester, Liverpool, City tomorrow.
Well,
listen, I don't count Spurs because they're a shit team. So Spurs.
The second point I wanted to make is you must have probably seen this happen more often than not. When a team plays a big team and they beat them, it takes a lot out of them. And in the next consecutive games, they are not the same. They don't have that.
They don't have to win. Those teams who play each other, and look, Man United still got to play Man City.
Yeah,
I believe. Liverpool have still got to play Man City.
Liverpool is out of the question. Liverpool is gone.
But
gone.
No. But what I'm saying to you is, Liverpool have still got to play. What is it? Chelsea. I think they've still got to play, and I think they've still got to play Sheffield, and I
Everton,
think and Everton. So Liverpool have still got to play teams that impact us. So, and same with Man City, same with Man United, and they've got to play. Look, they got to play Tottenham, and there could be a couple of draws. So therefore, naturally, there's going to be points dropped. So that's what I'm trying to say to you. That it's not necessarily these teams have to lose. There could be a whole heap of draws in that, which we could get into. Yes, we have to win our games. Don't get me wrong, and that's obviously another problem in itself. But what I'm saying to you is, in regards to the other teams, they could drop. It could happen. There could be draws. There could be, there could be losses. Also, as well, you have to factor in, and this could be the same for us. So don't get me that don't take it the wrong way. But players could end up getting injured with the lack of football, and certain players could get injured, and also big players might not want to play because of because of the situation, and also players might be a little bit off the pace. And yes, I know that's going to be the same for us as well. But that's what I'm saying to you. It's in my opinion, it's who wants to take advantage of that.
Yeah, and I got an update on Twitter some time ago. So I'll just let you know that schools have been shut once again in China because of the relapse of the virus.
Yeah, well, that's not surprising when you see all them wet markets and when they cut off snakes' heads and eat them and stuff like that. Do you know what I mean? It's a bit kind of.
It's only one region, isn't it? One region has done that.
Yeah, it's Beijing, and Beijing, I think it is.
They've got 20 billion people, so yeah.
No, but not only that, they live like flipping animals, and I don't want to get into too much of that because my channel will probably get shut down for being racist or something. But they eat like animals, and they don't. You see some of those videos of them markets, right? Yeah, it's horrific. The lack of hygiene is unreal. Do you know what I mean? It is so unreal.
Yeah, it's like Granit Xhaka on the pitch. Lack of hygiene.
No one, but anybody knows why is Mesut Ozil not even allowed to China? After taking a dig at them as well. You remember, we can't even
I'll
send
probably
him to
get banned
China.
from China.
Yeah,
I'll probably
they will
get banned
probably-
from China now. Do you know what I mean? I've said that. So,
I think back to the football again. I think Cheddars makes a good point here in the chat. He says Arsenal have only won 9 times in the Premier League so far, and we're not going to win 7 out of the last 10 games. And I agree with
Just
him.
want to say that. Yeah.
Yeah,
let
and
me
the next
say that,
comment,
right?
right? Chadwick.
No, I want to say
Yeah.
that. Hold on. I want to pick up on that because
What team have you been watching, Daniel?
I also, I've been watching Arsenal, but I also know that we've changed managers since then.
He hasn't won a single game, but yeah.
We've changed managers, and yes, he's not. What do you mean? He's
Has
not won a
won.
single game.
He has won a
Yes,
game.
he has. We won Everton. We beat Everton.
No, I mean to
3-2.
say,
And
Yeah,
we beat Newcastle
convincing.
4-1.
not in the sense of that like we'll beat a City because you're saying, so we have not won it convincingly. That is what I'm trying to say. It was a 3-2 win over Everton, and it
But
was
it's still
very
a
narrow.
victory. It's still a victory.
Yes,
It's still
yes,
a
that is.
win. Doesn't have to be convincingly. Doesn't have to be convincing. Yeah, the performance is a separate issue. But if you're asking
Yeah.
about wins, a win's a win.
Yeah,
And I'm not saying, listen, I'm not saying get carried away over 1 win or 2 wins. I'm not saying that at all. But what I'm just making a point that he has won. And listen, he's a new manager. I really think, okay, yes, let me level with you guys, right? In all probability, we're probably not going to get it. But what's the point? What's the point in supporting Arsenal if you don't hope? That's what I'm saying, right? What's the
Probably hope we
point?
win.
But what's
It's the
the
hope
point
that
in going
kills.
into all these games? Yeah, but what's the point in going into all these games going, oh, we're going to get beat, we're going to get beat?
No,
Do you know
the
what I
thing
mean?
is, of course, we all want to win and we all hope to win.
That's all I'm
But-
doing is
but-
hoping.
but-
That's
Sam,
all I'm
relax,
doing.
relax, Sam, relax.
That's
I
all.
think
No,
that's
no, no. But hold
Sam-
on. That's
Sam,
all I'm
follow
doing.
it.
We all
Sam,
hope
don't
to win and
follow
want to win, but it's just we're looking at it like, what do we think is going to happen, right? I've got an ice cube in my mouth.
Sam, don't
And-
choke on it. Don't swallow
But
it.
see, I agree.
No,
with,
it's okay.
but see, listen, that's all. That's all I'm doing is hoping that we'll get in there. I've not said we're going to get in there. I've
Yeah, you
said we
hope.
could.
But
I've
do you
said we.
think?
I have said we could get in there. I have
Yeah,
said we could.
we all hope, we all want to. But realistically, when you look at everything, do you think we're going to win? Yes or no?
Are we talking about the City game or getting
Yeah, we're
into the
talking about
Champions
City.
League?
We're talking about City game now. First of all,
Okay, so the City game, I think we've got a chance.
that's
I
not
think we've
what
got
I asked. That's not what I asked. I
Well,
said
it is, because
no,
I
it
do think
isn't.
we've got a chance. I think we've got a chance.
Of course,
Sam's
everyone's got a
directness.
chance.
Yeah.
Of course, everyone's got a chance. But do you seriously think, if you have to choose between, winning or not, do you think we're going to win tomorrow?
Binary answer.
It's a yes or no
Come
question.
on, Daniel. This is your moment now.
Well,
Moment of
I
truth.
think we got a chance.
Okay, here we go.
No.
Here we go.
No.
Hello, Boris.
Bill,
Hello, Boris.
Bill.
Hello, Boris.
No, because let me say this right. In all probability,
Oh, you're Tottenham in disguise. Oh, you're Tottenham.
No.
Oh, you're Tottenham. Oh, you're Tottenham in disguise.
fucking hell. No, because right. In all probability, we're probably going to get spanked, and we're probably going to come out with our asses looking like a baboon's
Spanking and
backside.
coming. We like that.
Finally,
you know what I
the
mean?
confession is coming out.
We're probably going to get spanked, but I do think we got a chance, and I do think
Yes.
it's an
Now
unusual
you've
situation.
had your political answer, and you're very
No,
very
I
nice.
said, hey, listen,
You're very nice diplomatic answer. You've had that. So now you can answer this: yes or no? Yes or no? Will Arsenal win tomorrow?
It's difficult because my head says no and my heart says yes.
Come on, go for it, Daniel. Go for it. You're not alone. Ryan is also betting for a win.
Daniel. Let's say you had to make a bet. So would you bet on City winning or Arsenal winning?
I'd bet on City winning because it's more
That's
likely
it.
to happen.
Okay.
Done.
Answer
It's
it.
done.
Answer it. Answer it.
It's done.
Yeah,
Ryan Fletcher, big up Ryan Fletcher, Mr. Arsenal podcast. Nice to have you, mate.
big up Ryan
Yeah.
Fletcher.
He's saying he reckons Arsenal's going to win. So yeah, you got someone who
Yeah,
thinks they're going to
you're
win.
not alone. You're
Fair
not
enough.
alone, Daniel.
Fair enough. You know, you're entitled to think that,
Now,
of course you are.
in terms of asking me about do I think we'll make the Champions League spots? Listen,
That's even less probable.
Yeah.
listen. In all probability, we're not going to make it. Even I realistically know that. But what's the point? I'm not just going into games going, oh, we're not going to make it, so what's the point in watching? I hope we do. I hope we can sneak in there. But in all probability, probability, we're probably going to end up in the relegation zone if we're being brutally honest.
No, we don't have a chance. We don't have a chance to do that. No, we're too far ahead there.
Yeah.
But yeah,
No?
I get what you're saying.
The point I'm trying to make is with that guy's, I can't remember who it was made the comment about only 9 wins. You have to factor in Arsenal's history. We've probably in Arsenal's recent history, we have probably had the most. Normally, we have quite a decent season in terms of stability. This season, I can't ever remember changing managers twice and having the instability that we've had this season. That's what I'm saying is there's a lot of factors to that, and Arteta can't be blamed for Emery's downfall as the manager with the 9 wins. He's trying to change that now. Is he going to change that in 9 of 10 games that we've got left? No, absolutely not, because I don't believe we've got the players to do that. But he's going to do the best with what he's got. And
yes, that's why I'm expecting.
Daniel is supporting our point now. Yeah,
that's why I'm expecting to see something better tomorrow. Because
if you guys check the chat as well, if you guys see the chat as well, I think one of this Chadwick has brought it a very reasonable point here. Let's put it this way, guys. Remember last season we bottled the top 4 by completely blowing the last 6 games. All we needed was just 1 win. Maybe this season, the last 10 game, we pulled it off. So it's a realistic thing, We only needed 1 win last season to secure top 4, and we blew it. And literally now it's a huge ask to do a 7 win, a 7 win out of 10. It's going to be a huge ask. It's even, and let's be honest, we only have about 9 wins all the way to this season. That's like
Let me say this as well. Hold on, let me say this, right? Last year we were a dead cert to get top 4 and we bottled it, right? And nobody expects us to get top 4 this season. Not even top 5, Nobody expects us. I think we can use that to our advantage because nobody is expecting it. That's what I'm saying. No one's expecting it. Even realistically, I'm not expecting it. I've said I've hoped we do, but realistically, nobody is giving us a chance. We can use that to our advantage because nobody is do you see what I'm trying to say? Nobody is. Last year, everybody's expecting it. Everybody was expecting it. And this is what I'm saying to you. It's psychological because last year we had the pressure on us.
I will just
let me say this. Hold on. Let me finish my point, right? Last season, it was expected of us. And what have I said to you guys on more than one stream? That when you put pressure on this Arsenal team, we flop. Now we're not under pressure because nobody is not expecting us to even make the top 4. We can perform better to our advantage. I've said it all along. You put pressure on this Arsenal team and we turn into a split condom. Do you know what I mean? Do you know what I mean? You take the pressure off and we turn into, we play like Barcelona. Do you know what I mean? Well, maybe not like Barcelona, but what I'm saying to you is, you've seen it before, right? When we're out of every competition, these players play to their ability. When the moment you put pressure on them, they end up turning into prime Plymouth Argyle or something. Do you know what I mean?
Yeah, so I was giving you the analogy that Batman is Batman. No matter how many Robins take the mask off and they take the suit off and they put on the Nightwing suit, they don't become Batman. So Pep is Pep, Manchester City is Manchester City. No matter how much Arsenal tries to push it, they're not going to become as good as that team. Not at least right now, unless they actually make the changes. We need a lot
And
of
let
new
me,
players coming in. Yeah,
but we're not going to get players. Not
we
now.
have,
Not in the transfer window. But I'm talking.
yeah,
I'm not talking about then, because you're saying that we need an Waterloo players. Listen, we've got to
yeah,
deal with the hand we've been dealt, and in regards to this season, we have to
yeah.
use what we can. We can't say, "Oh, we lost because we haven't got this type of player." Listen, it is what it is. Do I want us to have better players? Yeah, of course I do. But in order for that to happen, we've got to use the best of what we've got.
Of
And
course.
if I was Arteta, right, I'd be saying in there, and I'd be saying to all these players that are ambitious, right, and say, "Oh, Arsenal show lack of ambition." I would turn around and say to those players like Aubameyang, I'll say, "Well, do you know what, right? You want us to be more ambitious. You go out there and fight and make a fist of it and try and get us back into that Champions League spot where we can then be ambitious." It's all well and
Yeah.
good, and it's all well and good. And this is what pisses me off, right? These players, moan about the club being, having lack of ambition, but these players need to take some responsibility for themselves, because if they showed more ambition, and then we'd be in those top 4 spots, better players would want to come to the club, and then we'd kick on. The only reason these players don't want to get back into the Champions League, because they know that once we get back into the Champions League, half of their careers at Arsenal are done. And I think that's why they sit in this comfortable little bubble and just go, "Oh no, we're happy if we get if this club progresses, we're out of a job." And I genuinely believe that some of the players think like that at Arsenal. I genuinely believe it.
I
Yeah,
just
they
wanted to
do.
add. I just wanted to add that if some of these players actually had ambition, probably they wouldn't even be at Arsenal in the first place.
Yep, exactly.
It's true. If they had they're the highest level of ambition, yeah, probably. But see, the thing is, Daniel. The thing is, Daniel. I mean, all Arsenal fans. I'm pretty sure I can speak for every Arsenal fan. Of course, we want Arsenal to win. We're not going out to say we don't want Arsenal to win. Of course, in our hearts, we would like to see Arsenal win. I'd love to see Arsenal win tomorrow. I really would. I'd cheer like a kid again. Of course, I would. But it's talking about when you're looking at the game and you're analysing the game, and we're doing a pre-match, show here. You're trying to think about, okay, what is probably going to happen, because one thing is what you would like to see happen. Another thing is what you probably think will happen,
and that's what I'm saying to you.
Based on all the factors we know.
That's what I'm saying to you. I think
yes, there are more unknown factors than previously. That's what I said at the start.
Yeah.
Yes, there are more unknown factors there, which means this, in my opinion, hopefully and probably will be a tighter affair than normal. It's going to be closer than normal, but in my opinion, with all those factors taken into consideration, Manchester City will still be too good for us.
And I agree with you.
Yeah,
I agree with you. The only thing is, right,
yeah.
I've seen fans, and listen, we've spent so long, and even I've done it as well, criticising the players for their mentality. But I also think that we've got to change as a fan base our mentality as well, because you can't slam the players for not going into it with a winning mentality when we're going into it thinking. Do you see what I'm saying? Like, we've got to.
Well, don't you think we as fans we are sort of
Overhyping the players?
Don't you think we're influenced by what the players are doing on the pitch? When we see these players not giving it their all, the fans are thinking, "Oh, Jesus, I'm paying all this money for this." It's that type of thing, isn't it?
And one more thing,
I agree that, and that's why I think. But see, this pandemic can be really good for Arsenal. and not just Arsenal but other clubs, because what it's done is that it's taken the fans away from the stadiums. So players now, I tell you what, I bet you a bottom dollar these players are going to go out there and they're gonna miss the fans. Every club's going to miss the fans.
Of course they
So
do.
it's going to show that when fans are allowed to come back to the stadiums, that these clubs have got to appreciate fans more. Because, listen, I don't think beforehand clubs really appreciated fans. You know? And I just think, like, you know, we've got to. I'm not saying that Arteta or these players are going to do wonders and we're going to perform miracles. I'm not saying that whatsoever. But what I'm saying to you is, we have to give it a chance. We have to give it a chance.
Of course, we have to give it a chance. And everyone's giving it. I'm saying I've been saying all along, and so many other people are saying we want to give Arteta a chance. Of course we do. He should be given a chance. And the transfer window now is going to be a chance for him to show what he wants to do in the transfer market. You know, we're going to show what kind of ambition there is there. You know, we have to wait and see for the transfer window to see what he does there. But as for right now, I would like to see an improvement in the way we play because, A, we've had a long time break now, so we should be rested and should be able to give a decent performance. And 2, Arteta's had all this time now as a pre-season to implement the things he wants to implement. You know, he can't say, I didn't have time or possibility to do that. He can't use that excuse anymore. So that's why I want to see some improvements tomorrow.
No, I agree.
Yeah.
I agree.
And that is the only thing that can probably come out of the game if Arsenal plays 100%. I don't think even if our players play 100% right now, they can beat this Manchester City side. Unless probably they lose Kevin De Bruyne to injury or something like that.
Listen, I think we got the best chance of beating Man City because this Man City team have not been performing well this season into their usual standard. To their usual standard, I think we've got the best possibility.
I agree. This is the best chance we've had for a long time. I agree. With all things considered, you know, all the different factors considered now. No, they have no support at the moment. You know, it's behind closed doors. There's been a long layoff. No one's 100% match fit. You know, Arteta should have some knowledge on how we should approach the team.
But you guys, the thing is as well, right? You're asking, you know, back along when this game was supposed to be played. I said back along when this was originally scheduled for the, I think it was the 10th of March or something. It was due. It was original date. I said when people asked me about are we going to beat Man City, I said no, we're going to get battered. The simple fact being that they just lost to Man United. And Man City never lose 2 games in a row. They never, ever lose 2 games in a row. The next team, they lose a game, and then the team they play after, they actually go out and batter them. But having said that, with all the situation and that everything's happened and the disruption, yes, it could easily be true to us. We could go out there and play like donkeys, you know, which is, you know, probably more probable, but we could also go out there and we could nick it. You know, we could go out there and, you know, we could get a result.
Yeah, of course.
Yeah, but
of course there is a chance. There is always a chance of that, but it's not probable. It's not very probable.
No, I'm not saying it's probable. I'm not.
Yeah.
The Seagulls are back, Sam. The Seagulls are back. I can hear them.
Big up the Seagulls. Big up the Seagulls.
Big up the Seagulls. Yeah. So, what are people saying in the chat? Because I want to.
Chadwick is having sweat fetish.
You got to read Brownie's comment though, the one from earlier.
Yeah, what's Brownie's comment?
The only owner who appreciated the fans.
No. Brownie's
I'm reading Brownie's one. Earlier one, even earlier than that, you mean?
The one about Ty.
Oh, Ty, get that Daniel mask off, you fraud.
Fucking dickhead. Hey, listen, I'm not delusional. I'm not delusional like that because I will never. If Arsenal play shit, I will say they played shit. I won't blame it on the rain. So
we played horrible because of the damn rain. Yeah, get me, feel me.
yeah. Listen, I'm not. Listen, I'm not. No way saying that we're going to perform miracles in terms of finishing the season strong or beating Man City. But what I'm saying to you is that we're under a new, we've got Arteta in place, and I'm just saying that anything's possible.
Yes.
And there's a difference
And
between possible. There's a difference between being possible. There's a difference between possibility and probability.
Yes,
That's all I'm saying.
exactly.
And
Everything's possible.
in all probability, Kevin De Bruyne is going to score a hat trick, and we'll get battered 5-1.
Everything's possible. Everything's possible. I could get my nutsack licked by Dua Lipa, but it's not very probable.
Yeah, and in all possibility, Chadwick could win the contest that I have on my page, and probably I'll send him a bottle of my sweat.
All right then. So let's go to score predictions then. So I'm going to start with Sam. Your score prediction.
Yeah, I'm going to stick with the one I've had all the way, really, and that is, I said before, I don't think Manchester City are going to smash us or thrash us. I think the game's going to be pretty tight. I think, of course, I hope, but I also think we are going to give Manchester City a good game tomorrow. But as I've said before, Manchester City, unless something really strange happens, unless they're completely out of it, I just think they're still going to be too strong. Their players are too strong for us. They are too good for us. So I think it'll be a narrow victory to Manchester City, as I've said before, and I'm going for a 2-1 to Manchester City tomorrow.
Nitesh, score prediction.
I'm just looking at all the pookies in the chat.
Pookie, poon, pookie, poon.
And yeah, I have gone with the 3-1 to Manchester City, and I'm not changing that. As I said, yeah. But what I had said that if there is an injury possibly to Torreira, and possibly I had said this once that if Torreira is not playing and probably Bellerin is playing as right back, then it could go from a 3-1 to a 4-1. So either a 3-1 or a 4-1.
Okay, Kevin.
I'm probably going to be the only optimistic one here, but I'm going for a score all draw here because it's going to be like both teams is going to be rusty. It's kind of, let's be honest, let's not like diss out the Manchester City talents and quality that they have, although the 5 substitution and stuff, the quality in the bench and all, but I think pretty much most of the players are, although returning from injury, they're going to be a bit rusty, and it's going to take some time to get their feet back on track as well. So you can see that there'll be a lot of mistakes and hits and miss and stuff like this. So I'm probably going for a 2-all draw here. It's going to be a draw because we can't literally keep a clean sheet, not against Manchester City. And I know we will score goals because we got that front three that works out well. So let's hope, and I'm going to stick with a 2-2 draw right now. I don't see us winning though.
Yeah, and I'm going to go for a 3-2 to Arsenal. I think it will be. I think it will be a high-scoring game, but I think we could just nick it.
Can I ask you one question?
I think we'll concede because, listen, our defense is shit, and I think we'll concede. But I do think also Man City are vulnerable at the back, especially this season, and I do think that we could get at them with our front three.
That was without Laporte. That was without Laporte. So now they have Laporte back, so it's going to be a different thing now.
Yeah, and one more thing I would like to.
Huh? What? What are you laughing at?
He's laughing at, I think, the cheddar.
I'm cheddars. Do you have pet insurance? Because tonight I'll destroy that cookie. Oh man.
Look at Mr. Arsenal podcast. Mr. Arsenal podcast. Ryan Fletcher, he's going for 3-1 to Arsenal. Wow! I tell you what,
3-1.
If you put a tenner on, if you put a tenner on that result, I think you're going to win some good money. You should do that.
He's not going to win anything on that. score.
Well,
Anyway,
that's why I win a lot. That's why I win a lot of money, isn't it?
Then you guys should probably have a bet of £10 or something.
Oh,
Revenite 4-2 City. Alian Mahmoud is 6-0 to City.
Who?
Alian Mahmoud, I don't know who he is. I don't know. Looks like a moron to me. But anyway,
Okay, is that a new person in the chat? Okay, so listen, guys, I'm going to wrap up here because listen, I think it's been a great preview. So I'm going to go around each of you in turn, and I'm going to start with Sam. So Sam, just plug your channel and give yourself a shout out.
I'll plug more than your channel, Sunshine.
Back again.
Anyway, yeah, thanks for having me on. It's been a laugh as always. It's been good fun with these guys and you, of course. Daniel, it's been good fun. Yeah, my channel is Sam Greenwood TV. I do late evening chats, Arsenal and football related latest topics. I'm also going to be doing some quizzes when I can. I'll also be doing all these previews and watch-alongs and reviews and stuff with Daniel on this channel, The Blind Gooner. So please stick around for that this week and keep your eyes out for that. So it's been great fun. Thanks for having me. I hope everyone in the chat's had a good time. It's good to see you guys, and stay safe and have a good evening.
Yeah,
plug in.
And Kevin?
Yeah, first of all, thanks for having me, Daniel. And like Daniel mentioned, I'm the host of The Blind Gooner as well, so I'll probably be around Daniel's channel most of the time. And tomorrow is going to be pretty much the biggest day of the season, I suppose, because it's the start of the Premier League. And of course, you guys can also find further updates of what's going on, the ins and outs of Arsenal in this channel as well. And you guys can check me out on Twitter at Kevin_Mark434. And tomorrow's watch along, do join us because you'll be doing two watch alongs tomorrow, I reckon, for the Villa Sheffield United match as well as the Arsenal Manchester City match. So we are going to have match reviews, analysis, and tactical insights and stuff like this. So do join us. It's going to be a long stream, and we are going to have a cracking time, guys. Do join us in the chat as well, and do check out Nitesh's channel. I'll leave it the rest with him, man.
Yeah, Nitesh.
Yeah, I just want to quickly address a few things on the comments. Simply saying that Arsenal to win is 7-1, and 3-1 score line is 50-1 for Arsenal winning. So if anyone has money to waste, you can probably spend your ticket money on this. You can probably give it a try. But thank you guys. And yes, as I said, I have a page called Arsenal FC Fans, which is here, somewhere here. Yeah. And yes, there's a contest going on as well. We can probably sponsor your first bet, which is about, not your first bet, but probably a bet in the future, because we are giving away a $50 cash prize. If you can predict who's the right player that Arsenal will sign, the last player in the current 2020 summer transfer window, which will be Arsenal's last signing. So that is going on the page. You can go and check it out, and you can probably comment the player that you feel will be Arsenal's last signing. And the deadline will be the deadline day of the transfer window exactly. Maybe it will be the deadline day, not the end of it, but the start of it. So by that time, you need to give your predictions. Apart from that, you can find me on Beyond the Post. That is on Facebook, Instagram, Twitter, and YouTube as well. And I have a website called beyondthepost.net where we publish written content as well. Do check that out. Thank you.
Yeah, and so guys, listen, it's been a great show. And don't forget, as Kevin said, got 2 watch-alongs tomorrow. They're both up there already. So do go and stick a like on those videos. I'd really appreciate that. So tomorrow we're going to be on air at 5:45 p.m. UK time. We're going to be taking you through the Aston Villa and Sheffield United game. And then also in that broadcast as well, we're going to be going through the lineups for the Arsenal Man City game. They're going to be out at 7:15. And then we're going to have a 15-minute break at 7:45. And then at 8 p.m., we're going to be back on over on the Man City Arsenal stream. We're going to be back on at 8 p.m, taking you all the way up to 11 p.m. and beyond. We're going to be covering the game Then we're going to be doing the review and player ratings after that. So listen, it's going to be an absolute mammoth evening tomorrow on this channel. So please tune in, and please share it around as well. Share the channel, share the
share
content.
it, folks. Big up, like it.
Tell your friends about it, and if there's any other supporters who you know like football, yes, share it to them and get them to subscribe as well. Would really appreciate that.
Should I finish with a joke before you last goodbye?
And Sam's going to finish with a joke.
Yeah. Okay, everyone. So, what do Jersey girls use as protection during sex? I'll tell you what they use: bus shelters.
And there you have it, guys. So until tomorrow, all have a wonderful evening. Enjoy the rest of your evening, and please join us all tomorrow. And it's goodbye from me and goodbye from the panel.
Enjoy the cookies, guys. Enjoy the cookies.
Love you. Apart from Taib, I don't like Taib. I hate Taib.